The Netflix series The Crown has been intriguing audiences since 2016 with its high budget and high drama interpretation of the life and times of the British royal family. However, producers this week disgusted many royalists as it was revealed by the Mail that the tragic final moments of the late Princess Diana's life have been brutally recreated for Series 6 during filming in Paris late last year. Despite showrunners promising not to depict the exact moment of the crash impact, shocking leaked images of the mangled Mercedes that was secretly smuggled to Paris under tarpaulin by the film crew have caused outrage as it becomes clear that Netflix value the sick shock factor of Diana's final moments over any sort of dignity or respect for the crash victims and their loved ones. And one of those loved ones, somewhat ironically, has recently spoken about the emotional impact of seeing images of his dying mother in that Paris tunnel back in 1997.
All I saw was the back of my mum's head, slumped on the back seat. There were other more gruesome photographs, but I will be eternally grateful to him for denying me the ability to inflict pain on myself by saying that, because that's the kind of stuff that sticks in your mind forever.
Which I completely understand. But surely this raises the obvious but uncomfortable question. How on earth can Prince Harry continue to take Netflix's millions as payment for his own projects when they are prepared to exploit his mother's memory for financial and commercial gain, time and again? There's only one person I want to speak to on this. It's Princess Diana's former butler. She described him as her rock, Paul Burrell. Paul, you're obviously a very close friend of the late Princess Diana. How do you feel, firstly, about seeing Netflix recreate the car crash and actually move the car, the mangled wreckage of the car or a fake version of the car to Paris? How has it made you feel, Paul?
Well, Dan, I think Netflix have just plunged to new depths and depicting the car crash scene and, in fact, creating a replica of the crashed car is distasteful, it's insensitive, and it's heartless. We all know how the princess died. We don't need to see it portrayed in graphic detail on TV. It's sensationalism at its worst. I thought, actually, that depicting the Queen as a cold, heartless, distant woman was bad enough, and depicting Queen Elizabeth, Queen Mother, as an actress pulled through a hedge backwards when she had such grace and elegance during her lifetime. But this takes the biscuit. I mean, honestly, they're not thinking about any sensibility towards family members or people who love the princess by revisiting that scene in such graphic detail. Had it been your mother, your sister, your daughter, would you want to see that recreated on the screen? No. She was so deeply loved in this country. There are many ways which Netflix could have shown you the princess had died. A flash of light, maybe. Something very simple. But to go into such detail, I think it's disgusting. I really do. I would appeal to the producers of The Crown.
For those who don't know, Paul Burrell isn't just another commentator. He was Princess Diana's former butler, someone who knew the royal family inside out, and someone who's been openly critical of Harry and Meghan since they left the monarchy. He's not just giving opinions. He's speaking from years inside the royal machine. So, what does Burrell mean by collapse? He's pointing to the crumbling public support, the failed deals, and what he calls inconsistencies in their public image. Spotify walked away. Netflix is scaling back. Their docuseries drew massive views, but also major backlash. And Harry's memoir, Spare? It sold millions, but damaged his image even more.
To do the right thing and delete those scenes because they shouldn't be seen and they shouldn't be revisited.
I mean, look, while I have great sympathy for Prince Harry and the trauma that he continues to suffer around his mother's car crash, I really struggle, Paul, now with the fact that he continues to take the millions and millions of pounds from Netflix, because it feels to me, not for the first time, he is now putting money ahead of morality.
Well, that's Harry's game now. Unfortunately, he's got into bed with Netflix, he's got into bed with the devil, and he's taken the money, and quite frankly, he should give all that money back and walk away from it to do the decent thing. just like he did with Frogmore Cottages, he gave the money back. The money which he used for the taxpayers' money, which he used for Frogmore Cottages, would be returned to him. He should do the same thing with Netflix, because Netflix are not a company which he should be rubbing shoulders with after what we've just seen, and knowing how it upset him and William at the time. I was there. I saw what happened. Does he really want to work with a company who are going to portray all of that for the world yet again? I'm really not a fan of The Crown.
And especially, Paul, when Harry, over the past few years, has set himself up to be almost like some sort of moral arbiter of the media. You know, he is so quick to criticise newspapers and photographers, but all of a sudden, when it comes to him making money, he's actually turned into a bit of a propagandist for Netflix and The Crown, while the rest of the family are loath to talk about it because they feel the impact of The Crown deeply, especially King Charles, because he knows how damaging The Crown has been to his reputation with young people around the world. Harry, actually, in interviews, has actively promoted The Crown and said how much he loves watching it.
This isn't just bad press. It's what Burrell calls a slow, public unraveling of their brand. Let's be honest. Harry and Meghan built their post-royal identity on pain, betrayal, and victimhood. And for a while it worked. People were sympathetic. Media platforms were throwing money at them.
But now?
The audience is changing. People want solutions, not sob stories. And Burrell says the Sussexes' narrative just isn't holding up anymore. You can't monetize victimhood forever, he said, and he's not wrong. So what happens next?
Well, it beggars belief, doesn't it? I mean, especially in this coronation year, he's not promoting the family at all. He's sort of taking it apart. And we're watching the dismantling of Harry and Meghan, because their brand, I think, is going to collapse. I don't think it's going to survive, because they are only relevant because they are members of the royal family. They're only relevant because they have royal news to tell. So, you know, how long will that last? And how long do we have to suffer Harry washing dirty laundry in public? Because that's what he's doing. The rest of the family are doing the right thing. They're staying silent. They're having great dignity in silence. And look at Kate and William. Look at the difference between Harry and Meghan on one side of the world and Kate and William on this side of the world. Kate and William are not putting a foot wrong. They're doing exactly what they should be doing. They are representing the royal family in an immaculate way. They are, after all, our future king and queen.
Indeed. And look, I do have to say, Paul, I think you're right, by the way. I think the brand is completely collapsing. I think Harry and Meghan are becoming a laughingstock in the US, actually. They're not taken as seriously over there as they are here, but they're viewed as a joke because people laugh now about the South Park depiction of their worldwide privacy tour as a joke. But for me, I think what the Netflix deal shows, and this hypocrisy shows, is that they can no longer claim to take the moral high ground as they have for so many years. Because what this proves is that if it's about the big bucks, if it's about the moolah, they will put any morals to one side.
And I worry if they come back to Britain, the country which they've rejected and abandoned, I worry what the people of this country might say. Because I personally feel that they should stay in America, have a happy life, bring up their children in an American way, and not come back to Britain, because there isn't a place here for them. And I wonder what's going to happen with the coronation coming towards us, whether or not Harry will be brave enough to sit amongst his family members whom he's thrown under the bus. I do think that Meghan will stay in the States. I think she will stay there to look after the children, especially as it's a birthday time. But I honestly think that Harry will come because, you know, he's not the brightest.
Burrell believes we're seeing the final act. He thinks Meghan will eventually distance herself from Harry to protect her image, especially if his popularity continues to nosedive. And with their brand based more on conflict than contribution, how long can that actually last? So here's the real question. Is Paul Burrell calling it early? Or is he just another voice in the royal feud machine? Is Harry and Meghan's brand actually collapsing, or are they just evolving into something new?
Spark in the royal family, and I think he will come and try and pull it off, because it's a story which he can then go back to the States and relate in another world call with Netflix.
And guess what that's all about, Paul? It all comes down to one thing.
Of course it is. It's all about being relevant, and he's only relevant if he has another royal story to tell.
What a tragic state of affairs. What a very,
it's so sad. I'm very sad about
place.
it all.
Indeed. Well, look, Paul, such a pleasure to speak to you. We are all sending huge strength and love to you right now as well. We know you're going through this cancer battle. You are being so brave, so strong. So we're all behind you. Paul Burrell will speak very soon. You absolutely will. Thank you, Paul.
Comment below. Let me know what you think. If you want more brutally honest takes on celebrity brands, royalty, and power, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. You won't want to miss what's coming next.